So we should talk about Pete Hegseth, the Department of War Secretary, Department of Defense, whatever you want to call it, saying that for all service members, men and women, over 30, testosterone testing is going to be required. Now, this to me makes absolutely no sense. For those of you who know more about the medical world and biology than I do, my limited understanding is that it really just doesn't work like that in terms of testosterone. Usually when you have something like a low testosterone, like a deficiency that's impacting you, it's really a matter of like you start showing certain kinds of symptoms and they say, oh, okay, we should kind of look at this intervention and really be very careful how we engage it so that we can do what's in your best interest. There really isn't this idea of, oh, okay, well, having this low testosterone suddenly makes you weak and an ineffective fighter. In fact, testosterone is really kind of misunderstood insofar as it doesn't suddenly make you this aggressive, much bulkier, stronger person. That's just not the way the biology works. Most of it has to do with, like, in your teens, the amount of testosterone that you have does have some significant impacts. But then after that, just kind of giving someone testosterone doesn't suddenly make them aggressive or make them stronger. In fact, for it to really have kind of a significant biological impact, you've got to give them a lot for it to be like, oh, let me really bulk up, for it to impact their way of acting or their bodies in a significant way. And when that's the case, it's pretty dangerous. And one of those things, like, kind of once you start doing that, you may not be able to stop. And the side effects could be really, really negative. So why is he doing this? Given the fact that they're also requiring that women do it too, and we don't really have an established idea of like what would be considered low versus high, especially for women in general. And I have two reasons why I think this is the case. Number one, it's just clearly another kind of Pete Hegseth attack on women, but I think it's also an attack on men. And let me explain why. So in the case of women, it's obvious. There's this weird kind of cultural association like, oh, women have estrogen, men have testosterone. So they're basically kind of saying, oh, well, we should have more testosterone in the military, which is just a way of saying we should have more men, because Pete Hegseth has been arguing against women in combat, but just kind of women in general for a while. But how is it also an argument against men? Well, what I mean by that is if you look at the history of warfare in the world, who are the people that usually have been thrown in the front lines? Well, it's usually men. It's kind of like, who do you save from a sinking ship? The women and the children. You look at a game of chess, you put the pawns up front, but all like the wealthy and powerful, the kings, are in the back. In other words, the people who are most expendable are the people you're going to throw forward. So this whole like warrior ethos thing that Hegseth is talking about is really just a way of saying, hey, we're trying to make more expendable troops by instilling in you this idea that you're a warrior, when in reality, if we really cared about you, we would be fixing the damn VA.